Sup nerds, Tom here again, talking about another expansion for Among the Stars. This is Expanding the Alliance. So this expansion is almost a bit of a weird one. There's a lot of different stuff in here. It's not to say that, there's more content, like more cards and stuff in here than in the ambassadors. I'm not necessarily saying that. It's just like there are a lot more, there's like promos, there's more of these conflict cards, there's more special locations, there adds a 5th and 6th player, there's more races, there's a mini expansion, so there's kind of a lot going on here. I'm not going to talk about every single aspect, but I will tell you the things that I really like about this expansion. The two biggest things are that it adds more players, which I think is great. It adds a 5th and a 6th player. Now, actually, I haven't played with 6 players, but I do like the ability for it to go over 4 because it's a drafting game and you really extra players don't really add that much more time. I really felt like this should have been a 5-player game, so I really like that it adds a 5th and a 6th player. But mainly, I really like the new special locations. And a lot of these were, like promos, and some of them are wonky. There are some that maybe I wouldn't play with, like the Ambassadorial Shuttle. This is one that you have to place in another player station. No other locations may be built adjacent to it. So when I play this, I almost like take it just so that other players don't have it. Right, just so that they don't do it to me. I'm going to do it to you before you do it to me. But I'll kind of like try and put it on like the end of the station. Like, look, you have all this extra area over here that you're going to build on. I'm just going to put this over here because I just don't want it to be put in my station. But hopefully that doesn't hurt you too much. If you don't want to create, too many rivals at the table. Or maybe you do, who cares? The two different types of locations that are included in here that I really like are that they have their dual locations. So you'll gain points equal to the purple or red locations in your system, whichever is lowest. +1 for each adjacent blue or red location. So it's actually endgame ones and instant ones. And they're also dual color themselves. So they can trigger for either of those colors, or I guess they'll trigger for both of those colors, but for different cards that'll be around them. I also really like these sector gateway is what they're called. The ones that say that you get additional points if they're in a 2x2 grid of a certain color of location. I really like that because it's actually pretty easy to complete, and especially if you get multiple of those same cards, not just that you're getting more reds or more yellows of whatever color that they want, but if I have 2 military sector gateways, those are no-brainers that they'll be able to go right next to each other really easily. And there was a card that was like a 4x4 grid in Ambassadors, and I feel like this is a little bit more elegant because 4x4 is honestly surprisingly kind of hard because you actually tend to leave a lot of holes in Among the Stars because some cards like will affect how many adjacents when you place them and stuff. So you're not always building a perfect grid, or maybe something wants to be really far away from something else. So you might have all this elongated, really wonky thing, which is why a 4x4 grid is kind of hard. That's why that card was worth more points, but I don't know, I feel like this is just a little bit more elegant. The only issue with these new cards is that it's just the specials, the 3s and the 4s. If you only have the base game, you're going to have to add those in there. So you're not seeing all new cards like you did with the Ambassadors. But again, I think the main reason why I really like this why I would recommend this expansion first and then Ambassadors second, which is a little bit different, is I just want those extra players. And I do kind of like these cards a little bit better than the Ambassador cards. Ambassador cards are still cool, new stuff. And when I say that, I mean the new cards that are included for the main deck that are in the Ambassadors. The Ambassadors themselves, again, like I said in that video, I could kind of take it or leave it. And actually, you do get a couple more Ambassadors in here. But these are like really promo-y and really wacky. There's like Tom Vassal is +1 point for every 50 board games in your collection. Or Undead Viking, +1 point if you have facial hair. Another point if you are the player with the most facial hair. Another point if you can trace your family tree to Denmark. Another point if you are undead. So it's just silliness. And Rados is gain 1 point for every time someone passes behind you. Again, they're very wacky, silly, so you have to decide if you want to include these in your game group or not, because some gamers really aren't going to like that. Also, the new conflict cards, I still have yet to really play the conflict because I really like how the game is just, it's a nicer game. It's a little bit more solo, which again, the most conflict card I've played is the Ambassadorial Shuttle. And even then, like I said in that example, I feel I don't want to be mean to the other players. I just want to be better. You know what I mean? I don't want to specifically attack them too much. So I mean, maybe I'll play with the conflict cards at some point, but that's not why I get the expansion. That's not why I play the game. I also do really like the new races that come with it, except for the one that is it's the attacking one, Nixtos. You can give a player a token and they have to discard the card that they selected without gaining anything for it. That's just a little too attacky for me. Again, it's not that I don't like conflict in games. I do. I just feel like Among the Stars isn't really a conflict game for me. But maybe I'll get into it. But the Ludons one is really cool, and the one that lets you rearrange is really cool too. I'm probably overselling it just a little bit. Maybe Ambassadors and Expanding the Alliance are a little bit closer than I'm making it seem. But if there was an expansion that was just a add 2 more players, a 5 and 6 player expansion for Among the Stars, I would recommend that first still. You could get Ambassadors first if you just want to play with a whole new deck and a 5th or 6th player isn't a thing for you. But I don't know. I really just love that flexibility because I'm always taking my games to the game store and playing with all tons of different people. So I'd like the ability to broaden it out and add more players if need be. Also, again, a lot of the stuff here is just a lot cooler. You probably do get, because you get a whole new deck in the Ambassadors, you probably get more variety there. You know, here you have to pick and choose what you're going to mix in. But I don't know. I still think I ultimately, just in terms of what I enjoyed playing this expansion a little bit more. Well, I'm going to have a bunch of purchase links and everything down in the description box down below. And hey, while you're down there, don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you'll never be bored.